Hi, I'm Francis.
Hi, I'm Ian.
Hi, I'm Sue.
Hi, I'm Alison.
Hi, I'm Rosie.
Hi, I'm Holly.
Hi everyone, it's really good to see you. We all work for the Brentwood Schools Christian Worker Trust, an educational charity which serves and supports schools across Brentwood. You may have seen me or one of the team come into your school to take assemblies. All year we've been telling you the story of Daniel and his friends, and we've enjoyed it so much we thought it would be great to visit one last time and see how he and his friends were getting on in Babylon. Before that though, I'm going to hand over to our quizmaster, who's got a quick quiz to see just how much you can remember about Daniel and his friends and the challenges they faced. So, over to Rosie.
Hi everyone. Do you think you remember the story of Daniel so far? Let's see if you do. We're going to do a quiz with multiple choice questions and see if you can get any of the answers right. Okay, question number 1. Daniel and his friends were taken from Israel to which country? Were they taken to Egypt or to Babylon? Egypt or Babylon? They were in fact taken from Israel all the way to Babylon. Okay, King Nebuchadnezzar built a big statue and asked everyone to bow down to it. Do you think Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, Daniel's friends, bowed down to this statue or were thrown into a fiery furnace because they refused to? Did they bow down or did they go in the fiery furnace? They actually went into the fiery furnace, but they didn't die, they were rescued. Okay, our last question. When Daniel needed help, did he go to his friends and ask for help from them? Or did he always go to God? That's right, he always went to God and God was there and helped him. How many of those questions did you get right? Okay, let's find out about the next part of Daniel's exciting story.
Hi, I'm Daniel. When my friends and I found ourselves in a new land, we worked really hard. So hard that we became the king's own helpers. But we never forgot about God or failed to pray to him morning, noon and night.
Hi, I'm Darius, king of the Medes. I took over the kingdom of Babylon after King Nebuchadnezzar and his son made a mess of things. Anyway, I didn't just take over his land and riches, I took over his people too. One of them was this top-notch, hard-working, wise and clever man called Daniel. Daniel soon became one of my most trusted helpers. However, it wasn't long before I noticed that my other advisors were jealous of Daniel.
Oh, that swot Daniel. He's always creeping up to King Darius. We should have been given his job.
He was a real pain. So close to the king. So much influence. So religious. And always praying.
I cooked up a plan to get Daniel out of the way. It was guaranteed to work.
It was a fantastic plan. We convinced King Darius into making a new law. A law which said no one is allowed to pray to anyone but the king himself. And the punishment for breaking it? To be thrown into the den of hungry lions.
Ha! That's brilliant. That holy Daniel will never ever obey that law. He won't pray to anyone but his God. Ha!
We really had him trapped.
All we had to do was keep a watch on him and catch him in the act of praying, which was easy to do with my binoculars.
The very next morning, Daniel knelt at his window, bowed his head, and prayed and prayed and prayed, not to the king, but to his God. We had him.
It was a double trap, for not even the king can change the law once it's been passed. He had to throw him into the lion's den.
I knew all about the new law. But I also knew all about God's law, which meant that I should only ever pray to my God. I remembered back to when God protected my friends in the fiery furnace. I knew that he would protect me too, and even if he didn't, I trusted him to be with me and to help me through the difficult times. So, as I knelt down the next morning, I prayed to my God the same prayer that I prayed every day.
I just couldn't believe that I'd been so badly tricked. I was so annoyed. Not just annoyed, I was furious and frustrated. And most of all, I was sad. Very sad. I did not want to put Daniel into the lion's den. Daniel was my best advisor, and Daniel was my friend. But a law was a law, even if I'd been tricked into making it. And Daniel had broken the law by praying to his God. I felt so stupid. Me, a mighty king, powerless to help the one person I wanted to.
I could see King Darius wasn't happy. But it turned out he wasn't so helpless. As my enemies laughed and slapped each other on the back, and as the guards lowered me into the lion's den, and as I sent up a prayer to God for help, King Darius sent up a prayer of his own to my God, like a small white bird, to ask God to protect me. And it didn't take long for God to answer, although it felt like time stood still as I got lower and lower into the dark pit of lions.
In the den was a family, a huge father lion with a shaggy brown mane, a sleek mother lion with golden brown hair, and 2 tumbling and not quite grown-up cubs. The lions looked at Daniel and drooled. Their bellies growled as only lion bellies can. When Daniel looked at the lions, all he saw were wide open mouths and sharp white teeth. And all Daniel heard was a roaring chorus as the lions padded closer. Suddenly, something like a curtain seemed to open between heaven and earth. "Wait just a minute," called a voice through the opening. God's answer had arrived. It was an angel who was good with lions, an angel who looked a bit like a lion himself, a great stocky angel with hulking hands and a shaggy brown head of hair. "It's not time for that yet," called the angel. "Oh, then what time is it, Mr. Angel?" asked the lions. The angel paused for a moment and thought. "It's scratching time." Then the angel laid one huge hand on Father Lion's head and started scratching behind his ears. And soon the lion himself laid down and began to purr. With his other hand the angel scratched Mother Lion at the base of her neck. Soon she was purring too. Me next," shouted the cubs. And for a long time Daniel heard nothing but scratching and purring and mewing. When they had finished, the lions collapsed, exhausted, on the floor of their den. "What time is it?
What time is it now, Mr. Angel? Yawned Father Lion. The angel stretched wide his arms, shook his shaggy hair, and yawned back. It's sleeping time, I think. And the lions curled up like house cats in front of the fire and were soon fast asleep. The angel curled up with them, wrapping his long lion-like self around them. But he kept one eye open, just in case.
The next morning, I called to Daniel. Daniel! Daniel! Has God answered my prayer? Has your God saved you? I could hardly believe my ears when Daniel called back. He was alive. Our prayers had been answered. Woo!
God had answered both of our prayers. And then the king issued a new law. He declared that all his people should now worship my God because he rescues and saves. He performs signs and wonders. Now that is a law that I can certainly obey.
Hi Joan. Hi Holly. What did you think of that?
My goodness, what another amazing story. What do you think of it, Lion?
Roar! Roar! Do you think I make a scary lion? I loved that story with the lions and that amazing angel. I'd love to have been playing with these lions and the angel.
I don't think Daniel wanted to be in that den. Mind you, once the angel turned up, maybe it wasn't quite so bad.
Roar! I'm glad Daniel asked for help. I often just struggle along on my own.
I wonder whether the children at home are good at asking for help when they're having problems.
I'll ask them. Is there anything that you could do with some help with right now? Maybe there's a tricky situation and you can't sort it out on your own. Who do you know that might be able to help you? Why don't you try to think of those lions in the story as your problems? Close your eyes and then imagine each of them wearing a collar with a tag with your problem written right on it. Now think of that angel, and he stands for someone who can sort out your problems, like the angel that God sent to Daniel to help with the lions.
Thank you, Lion. I found that really helpful. What I liked about that story was that Darius felt he could pray to Daniel's God. And even though he didn't believe in him beforehand, he certainly did once his prayers had been answered.
Roar! Yes, he saw that God really does answer prayer. And he wanted everyone else to believe that too. Isn't that what Christians still believe today?
Yes, we believe that God is always with us, just waiting for us to ask for his help. Even people like Darius.
Although things might not always turn out how we expected, we believe that God can be trusted to help us.
Maybe the children would like to pray. If you want to, why don't you join in the prayer I'm going to say by adding an amen at the end? That means I agree. Dear God, our Heavenly Helper, thank you that you are always there with us, even when we don't notice you. Thank you that we can ask for your help when we have to face difficult situations. Please be with each of us and with our families and our friends and teachers as we may face more challenges over the coming weeks. Amen.
Well, thank you to everyone who's joined us for this assembly, and thank you to everyone who helped us make it too. If you've enjoyed this story about Daniel and his friends, why don't you look it up and see if you can find out what else happened to them? Remember, it's in the book of Daniel in the Old Testament part of the Bible. Or maybe you can find his story online and follow it there. Well, it's time to go now, but remember, we haven't forgotten you, and we're still thinking about you, and we're really hoping that we'll be back to see you before too long. Bye.